Continue this now. Like I was going into the fourth beast or the fourth kingdom. The beast is a kingdom. Okay? Now what kingdom? I'll pull that in a minute. Put my hands around a little more. All right, so let me pull. I'm gonna go into this. Revelation chapter. Jump back to Revelation 12. So it's reproof that the four beasts is a kingdom. I'm gonna read what kingdom in a minute, but we're gonna read back Revelation 12.
Okay, I get the escalator.
Revelation chapter 12, verse. Broke that down to 7 heads. Oh yes, and so after I read the kingdom, I'll break down the 7 heads. Well, the 7 heads are what? The Greeks, the Romans, the Brits, the French, the Spaniards, Germania Minor, Germania Major. The 10 horns are the 10 common markets. Okay, that makes up NATO when they first started. Okay, because the dragon became the beast. Okay, but when that deadly wound was healed. Let me read on though. And its tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. The third part, or the 3 tribes that were left in Jerusalem: Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Okay. Oh, and let me prove that it's the Romans. You read this first, sir. And the tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and they cast them to the earth. And a dragon stood before the woman, the Israelites, which was ready to be delivered for her child as soon as it was born. Who child? Yahawashi. Okay. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and the child was caught up unto the Most High and unto his throne. So we know that child is Yahawashi, Acts the 1st chapter, after he went back to the Most High. So what kingdom tried to devour the Israelites when the Messiah was born? Well, let's read John chapter 11. We know Herod tried to kill the Lord when he was born, and he was underneath who? The Romans, man. Okay? And the Romans did drill the third part of heaven in 70 AD. That's why the Romans, the Pharisees said this, John chapter 11, verse 47. I'm going to read on down. John chapter 11, verse 47. This is after Yahawashi raised up Lazarus, they ran back and told the Pharisees. This is what they said. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we do? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him alone, all men will believe on him. And the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. The Romans were that dragon that drew the third part of heaven. And they did do that in 70 AD. And that was the beginning of the Aspen. Alright? So the Romans represents the dragon, which I just read about the serpent, how we was going to bruise his heel. So let's jump back to Revelation, the 12th chapter. Revelation chapter 12. Still on? Crazy. Alright, so good. Revelation 12. And she brought forth a man child. I'm read verse 5 again. She brought forth a man child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And the child was caught up unto the Most High and unto his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared to the Most High, and there 1,260 days. I'm gonna read on down. And we ran where? Into Africa for a certain time period, man. Because when you read the story, the Lord in the 60 days, that's a 350 years time period, from 1620 to 1970. That's when we started waking back up again. Okay? It says, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought his angels, and prevailed not. And you all can read Revelation the 17th chapter. He breaks down that, man. When Yahawashi come back, all of those nations, they gonna come together to fight the second coming. All right? I'm gonna read on down. Verse 9, this is what I'm going to bring out. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him, his military. So that what? The serpent became the dragon. We read about it in Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. That the woman, what? Will bruise his heel. Now who is that? The Israelites. Who's the serpent? Esau. He went from what? A serpent to a dragon, man. A man to an empire. And he came back into power as the beast. See, we broke that down to the spirit of Yahawashi, man. Okay? That was not no actual snake. That was a characteristic of a certain man. And Jacob's hand held Esau's heel. And we proved to the scriptures that what? The dragon was what? An empire, which were Edomites back then. You white people back then, man. You're that serpent. You're that dragon. You are Esau, man. Point blank period. There ain't no getting around it, man. And that was just we could go even longer than that. Okay? You read so it's no surprise that this devil's doing these things, man. You read Ecclesiasticus. Read it off my phone. Chapter 12, verse 10. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. It says what? This is what the Most High told us. Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. It says, never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. As iron rusts, so is this devil's wickedness, man. Never trust him, man. And his horns going to keep coming out more and more and more. Watch how this here play out to the spirit, man. Watch, man. The Most High is stirring him up. Okay? It says, though he humble himself. Yeah, by trying to give y'all jobs, trying to pacify y'all, give you certain benefits, give you civil rights. That's him humbling himself, man. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as though he has wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. It has not been wiped away, because his nakedness is being seen now. Okay? All these statements, how the president of a nation is making statements like that. And like I said, what he's saying is how they all feel behind closed doors. That's what the Bible says, never ever trust thine enemy. Y'all don't know who y'all enemies are, man. And he's manifested himself, man. He's been here. Okay? But our people are so sleep. But you know what? Remain that way. Because y'all gonna receive y'all judgment. Okay? Read on. Verse 12, it says, set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. See? And that happened to mainly the Native Americans as well, man. He literally took their seat by taking their country and the entire continent. Because they trusted it, man. It says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent? It says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent? So you them idiots that be playing with them snakes with the flutes, you don't pity that guy if he get bit, man, because he's a jackass, man. All right. It says, or any such as come nigh unto wild beasts, so one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? For while he abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, and that is this devil. Oh, democracy and freedom for all. He's the devil, man. You don't believe in that, man. Now his true colors is coming out by the ways of their president, man, who stirred up this white supremacy again, man. It was always here, but you couldn't see it. Okay? Because he was speaking sweetly with his lips. But it's out now, man. That's because why? You're being brought down. And all glory to the Most High, man. All glory to Yahawashi al-Shah. Alright? Finish out this precept. It's a beautiful thing, man. Come out here and labor for Yahawashi al-Shah in the cold. It's a beautiful thing, man. Alright? That's what the scripture said to me. Make your body a living sacrifice. That's what it's talking about, man. It says, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagined how to overthrow thee. This is wisdom, man. Okay, for our people, man. We'll read it again. An enemy speaketh sweetly. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagined how to overthrow thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes. When he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. And if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. And that's the white man all the way, man. Okay, he pretends to help you, Jakes, like I said, by giving you so-called civil rights and other quote-unquote benefits. But he's the same one that put guns and drugs in your communities, man. For you to fight and kill each other, man. And keep this perpetual cycle going. But you see, brothers that came out of that, man. You see, Yahawashi is the only way you can break the cycle, man, of death, man. Because why? He's that bread of life. The scripture says, never trust thine enemy, man. The scriptures is clear on that, man. Now people are fools, man. See? And now he's starting to bite y'all now. He's starting to prick y'all, man. See, us coming out here and saying it's not enough. The scripture says you were stiff-necked people. So seeing is believing. So y'all gonna see it. Okay? The two was never meant to come together. The scripture says that they were separated from birth. And that what? He was gonna bruise his heel in the latter end. We get Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. Revelation chapter 13. Oh, the scripture says what? He'll clap, man, when he see your downfall, man. And that happened. You read Psalms 137 first. Psalms 137. Classic scripture right here. It says, verse 7, remember, O Lord, Yahawashi, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. King David prophesied, now during the time of the Babylonians. The Edomites was cheering them on. Also, you can read that history in the book of Judith, man. Right? How the Edomites was cheering on the downfall of us, man. And they still do today, man. Like I said, behind closed doors, you Negroes and Hispanics, you're the dinner time jokes. Okay? They never changed, man. It says, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. And this is what the scripture also calls them, you idiots out there. Or daughter of Babylon, and that's America, man. This is where he runs his corporation, man. Ain't talking about ancient Babylon. Okay? O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy thou shalt be that rewarded thee, as thou hast served us. Happy shall be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stone. And that's what we're going to do in the kingdom. Same how you fed our children to alligator baby, to alligators. We'll take your little ones and dash you to pieces, man. We're going to do according Like the Most High said, we're going to do in Edom according to his anger and his fury. That's a whole nother anger, man. Okay? We're going to be terminators in that time, man. You read Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. Revelation verse 9, man. This is what we got to look forward to, man. This is what we're looking forward to. This is what we're fighting for, man. See what I'm saying? This is what we put our body as a living sacrifice for, man. No matter the weather, we still come out here, man. Alright? Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. Listen carefully. He that leadeth into captivity, slavery, shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. I'm going to read that again. Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So how did we come on this side of the world? In slavery. And we were led captive. Okay? Starting with you Edomites, you Hamites, Ishmaelites, and all you nations, man, had your hand in our downfall. Read Psalms the 83rd chapter. Okay? And we're still being oppressed today. And our oppressors are speaking out, man. See what I'm saying? Calling you shitholes and niggas and spinks. And they got upset when you started protesting against the flag. How dare you niggas, man? How dare you speak out, man? How dare you have a voice? How dare you have an opinion? How dare you have feelings? We gave you millions of dollars. Keep your mouth shut. That's basically how they look at y'all. Nah, man. Only blood can cleanse blood, man. Okay? Most High believe in retribution, man. Bloodshed, man. The only way you can cleanse the land, you have to shed the blood of those who shed it. That's the only way you make things equal and just. Money can't cover blood, man. And we don't want that money nowhere. Okay? We need to have you in captivity and slavery because you've done a lot of evil throughout time and throughout history, man. And we're living in a time of Esau's downfall. We're living in a time where Jacob is going to bruise his heel. He's going to take him down, man. Put him away for good, man. Once and for all, man. And it's all through the power of Yahawah Yahawashi. Alright? We read this. Read. It says, read it again. Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, man. That's the patience and the faith of the saints. Okay? Who are the saints? The Israelites, man. Saint means what? Holy, man. And how are we holy? Because we received the law. The Most High was married unto us. That's how we're a holy people, man. A holy nation, man. Because Yahawah Yahawashi